Cool. I think we're ready to get going. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Teams app development webinar. My name is Christopher. I will be kicking us off, and then presenting today will be Ravi Varuduru. He is our DevOps practice lead here at Krish Services Group. All right, next slide, please. So we are Krish Services Group. We're a Microsoft Gold partner focusing on digital transformation and workplace collaboration. We are your trusted digital transformation partner. What that means for us is we partner with our customers in their modern workplace and application modernization journeys. Our innovative end-to-end cloud solutions streamline your business processes and allow you to focus on the growth of your business. Why should you partner with Krish? We are a trusted Azure DevOps partner, trusted software development partner. We focus on application modernization, be that redesign or re-architecting applications as cloud native or cloud ready. We enable our customers to use Power Platform via low code or no code development. That encompasses Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, Power Virtual Agents, the whole Power Platform suite of services. We provide Microsoft 365 migrations, tenant to tenant, be it on-premise to Microsoft 365, tenant to tenant, anything small to large. We have expertise in very large migrations involving merger and acquisitions and divestitures, with a large team of experts dedicated to doing so. Industries we serve, anything you can see. We're industry agnostic. We aren't very picky. If you have a need, we like to think that we can help. Next, please. All right. Here at Krish, we provide end-to-end services focusing on Microsoft Cloud's app development modernization. On the left side, you see the Microsoft 365 suite of services: migrations, upgrades, internets, extranets, departmental portals, migrations to Microsoft 365, Power Platform, custom apps and web parts, workflows, anything in the Power Platform. And then on the right side, you see our Azure suite of services. That's App Dev, Logic Apps, Web Applications, Mobile Apps, Web APIs, so on and so forth. Next, please. And here we have the Microsoft periodic table of services. Highlighted in the middle, in that red square, is what we consider our core area of expertise. If we can't do it, chances are it's in our network of things to help you with. If you have any questions on these, please don't hesitate to reach out. Next slide, please. All right, so Ravi is going to take us away here. I would request that anyone, if you have any questions at any time during the webinar, please type them out in the chat and we will get to them as quickly as we can. Otherwise, at the end of the presentation, there will be a Q&A session where I will unmute everyone and we can talk through any specific questions you may have as a result of the presentation. Thank you all for joining. Ravi, take us away.
Yep. Hey, thanks, Christopher, for the introduction. So, hello, everyone. So from here, as Christopher was showing in the agenda earlier, so what we'll be doing today is briefly going on with the introduction of Microsoft Teams here and understanding what are the different capabilities that these Teams apps can offer when it comes to a custom solution. And also I have some use cases and the demos that are developed for this particular webinar. So we can go through that. And also I will take you through how the life cycle of these apps work and what kind of policies we define if we develop an app and deploy in our tenant. So as all of you might have known already, the usage of Microsoft Teams grew at a great speed since people started working remotely, right? Teams provides us with a great functionality to schedule meetings, one-on-one calls, or collaborate with the Office 365 products it is very tightly integrated with almost all the Microsoft services. However, I mean, Team is also very extensible platform, and we can build custom apps tailored to our needs here. I mean, this is where we'll be spending most of the time, our time today, right? When I say customization, right? Well, what does it mean? We can add like third-party services, so team can quickly access like important information in a single place without any kind of context switch, or we can integrate workflows to simplify processes and accelerate decision-making process. So having all the information and application that are critical for your users in one place helps reduce any kind of app switching or context switching costs, as well as enable your employees to make any kind of decisions faster. So here, what you're seeing here is these are some of the top app modernization choices that are available when it comes to either legacy ASP.NET apps or Info Platforms app or Lotus Note app, any apps that you might have today in your organization. So Teams is becoming more like, as I said earlier, one-stop shop and becoming a popular choice to integrate, so the users will have less context switch, right? So we can develop you any app using any technology like Power Platform or a custom web app on Azure, and we can easily integrate that with Teams. So if you have any apps that are working that you see on the left-hand side, the technologies here, be it a legacy ASP.NET that is helping your team to achieve some kind of workflows today, or be it Lotus Note apps that is some kind of LOC business process app that you're having today, those are like very good use cases for them to turn into a modern app and integrate with Teams. So those can be better used. So let's just say that you decided to build an app, right? Or you have an idea how to plan and execute the idea, right? So this picture just illustrates how to plan in different stages. Before you even build it, there are 3 stages here, right? Before build, during build, and after build. What needs to happen, what you need to know. So before you even start building the app, the key things that we need to do here is understanding the use case of your what you're trying to build and the user requirements, right? Are you going to build an app, or is your idea to build an app for a personal app that serves every single person individually, or are you going to create a solution that helps your team as a group, like a group chat bot or something, right? So we need to make sure that use case is documented and perfectly before we start doing anything, right? And then comes into picture understanding the actual team's features and capabilities. So basically, once you know the different capabilities what Teams app can offer, you will be able to map those use cases and appropriately to these capabilities and get a better understanding of your app, right? Or it could be like a form factor. Do you want to run your app on the web version of Teams, or how is it going to look like on the mobile version of Teams, right? So those are the kind of things that we need to start looking at before we start developing a idea or putting a development team to do this. But once we are done with that phase, when we are in the development phase, right? So that's when we are getting into project workspace, design app, nothing but then at this point, we need to decide what are the technologies that we can use to develop this app, right? So the beauty with the Teams integration is, I mean, you can develop your apps in almost any technology because the app is going to always live outside of the Teams. When we say Teams app development, it's not like you have a SDK that you're developing this app and host this app inside the Teams. any app that you are developing for Teams basically will be hosted outside Teams somewhere, and Teams will provide a manifest file or a way to integrate the app hosted outside with your Teams app, right? So that's why it is very extensible, and you can pick the technology of your choice to develop this app, right? So when it comes to design of apps, so you understand your use cases, you understand the features of these features of Teams and everything. Now the time comes to design your app, how it should look like. So there's a bunch of documentation and guidance that is available from Microsoft here. I can show you quickly. If I go to here, I'll share this link with everyone along with the PDF once we have done here. But this is all, there's a bunch of documentation, design documentation that is available from Microsoft that will really, let me just refresh this, what's happening. Yeah. So this is more like, think of this as a Teams UI kit developed by Microsoft to guide you on the design principles, right? Because when you're developing an app for Teams, even though your brain is the brain of the app is hosted outside, it should look like and feel like native to the Teams platform itself, right? So there are some design guidelines and be it iconography or colors that you need to follow to make sure that your the members who are using this app are not feeling like an alien. This is going to be an alien app, right? So there is a bunch of, if you see here, there are app capabilities. If you go inside that, they have clearly documented design aspects of what kind of real estate it uses and how it uses and what kind of different features, how to plan for those features. So once you understand your use cases and map them to features, then you come here and design your app on how it should look like. And also there are a lot of design elements here they have here with colors and design iconography that you can easily, your team can easily take and change if needed. But this will be a very good starting point when you come to the design phase of the development, right? So that is something that we need to keep in mind when we are starting the development of this app. And at the same time, once the development is done, the second thing that we need to know is after the development, how does the life cycle of this works, right? How to distribute this app? Are we going to distribute this app only for people in our organization, or are we going to distribute this app like a SaaS app to everyone who is using Teams, right? Those are the decisions that we need to make, and I'll show you later in the demo on how to distribute this app and how we can create policies across these apps that will allow members of a specific organization to use this. Any questions so far? Okay. So Microsoft, this slide is more like, I don't know if everyone can see use cases, right? There are different use cases that you're seeing here. For example, if your use case is to show some kind of Power BI data, right? Maybe Teams tabs will be a feature that you can use on Teams. Or if your use case is to send some messages to the users and make some conversational app, right? Maybe then bot might be a real feature that you can use in the Teams app. So there are multiple capabilities that we have, like webhooks, connectors, message extensions, when it comes to Microsoft Teams app that you can use depending on the use case, which we'll be digging into these capabilities a little bit later in the demo. So in this picture, you can see some of the ready-to-use apps at the bottom. which already have good integration with the Microsoft Teams, right? If you have a Word document or a PowerPoint presentation that you are working, you can easily add it to a tab or collaborate with the teams inside your Teams app itself without leaving anywhere, right? You don't need to come or open a different app to view this Office 365 files. You have good amount of integrations already available in there. The same case with either OneNote or Power BI. You can just pin the Power BI dashboards on the Teams app, or when it comes to partner applications, right? There are already several businesses which are providing apps to integrate their platform with Teams. For example, you can convert any message. If you are using ServiceNow, you can convert any message that you're receiving from a user to a ServiceNow ticket with a couple of clicks, or create rich surveys using things like Poly.ai, right, the site. So there are already a good amount of apps that are available from different businesses too. All these things make Teams a great collaborative workspace, right? However, there will be some custom needs very specific to organizations or businesses, right? That is where the custom apps comes into picture, be it addressing a specific need of one department, or providing resources to employees in a single place where maybe bots can guide people to retrieve information they needed quickly, right? So these are the specific kind of use cases that is where we can build our own apps, and I'll show you how to integrate them into the Teams platform. So when we talk about custom app, what is a custom app, right? Yeah. So it's a set of capabilities, right? Capabilities are like a extension points for building apps on the Microsoft Teams platform. So there are multiple ways to extend the Teams client, right? We need to pick and choose what capabilities we need in our custom app, depending on our use case. So for instance, our app can have just the bot capability, or which provides a conversational interface and helps users to retrieve or update the information. Or we can have multiple capabilities like task modules or tabs to record the user input on the and display on the tab, right? Everything that you see in the center of this picture are different capabilities we can have on Teams. On the right-hand side, what you see here are different roles and technologies that helps you develop in our custom apps. So I'll be going through this quickly, and then we can look at some examples to see how these are implemented, and how we can use these capabilities to make our idea into an app. So let's talk about the team tabs first, right? This is, I mean, if you're using Teams, you will know exactly what a tab is, right? As soon as, even if you create a channel, there'll be a tab, or if you create a new channel, for example, there'll be like two tabs. One is chat and files, which are preloaded. If you create like a private chat with a person, there are like 4 tabs which are already created: chat, files, organization, activity, and stuff like that. So there are some predefined tabs, but if we want to display anything, our custom content as a tab, that is a possibility too. So these tabs are like Teams aware web pages. Think of this like a Teams aware web pages embedded in the Microsoft Teams itself. So it is easy to add simple custom tabs like PDF documents and any other Office 365 material like PPT or Word document. However, moving a bit forward, we can even run our own websites inside these tabs. We can authenticate users using third party, or provide SSO functionality. Like, since these tabs are like Teams aware applications, basically what happens is we can define SSO, right? So if you have a custom tab in your custom application that you developed, basically what happens is when someone opens the app, they don't need to log in again. using their Office 365 identity, you can perform a single sign-on operation, and you can verify their identity, authenticity, and get all the user information and use them as part of your app. That's a cool thing when you are using tabs. If you already have any kind of SPFX web parts, that's a good way too. Those can be hosted on these tabs too, with very less amount of effort. So the next capability here that we have here is bots, right? Bot allow us to interact with any kind of service to retrieve or update in multiple ways, right? Bot can be developed using interactive cards, which guides the user by providing options, right? If you look at the screenshot here, this is a clickbot, right? Just provides options and asks users to pick something. You can see here at the top, it says show recent emails, pending approvals, or approved decline. These are all the actions that this bot is providing. So user can pick an option, just click on it, and that's why we call it as a clickbot, right? It drives the users through interaction. Or we can develop bots with natural language processing capabilities too. The way users can communicate with the bot is a free text form of language, right? The bot will be able to understand the intent of the free text and serve the request. When I say the intent, I mean multiple users can ask the same question in multiple ways, right? But the bot should be able to, it should be intelligent enough and should be able to understand the intent and what the user is asking and serve the request, right? So that's where the natural language processing will come handy. And the bots can monitor queues, be used to send proactive messages, or even make calls on channels for individual users. We can program them to facilitate and manage the calls. In fact, few days back, we were looking into an interesting use case. I'm sure most of you might face a similar issue, right? When someone joins a team meeting from the phone, we just see the phone number, right? We don't see who just joined. We don't see the name when someone dials into a meeting. So it will ask you to announce your name instead of that, but it gets tricky and confusing, right? When multiple people joins, we don't know clearly who is talking. So those kind of scenarios, we can have a bot in the chat in the meeting, and when someone dials in, the bot will get the phone number. It can look up your Active Directory and find the name who just joined the meeting, and it can post a message, hey, this person joined from this number, right? That makes it a little easier for people to recognize who is joining and who is talking. So this is just a simple use case. Again, there are multiple things that we can achieve with use cases like this using either conversational bots or the click bots. So Robot, right? So this is also an interesting use case, which we developed for Cleveland Clinic recently. They have a program called eCoaching. It is a coaching platform where the doctors can coach participants, nurture good habits, and monitor their progress, right? So as part of this program, participants submit some of their activities and achievements daily to the coaches. So these coaches needs to go to multiple screens to retrieve and review the data. So we created a simple bot that communicate with coaches to provide information they need in a single place. This bot will notify the coaches whenever a new participant is assigned to them, or they can communicate with the bot in natural free language. As you can see here in the screenshot, they can just ask for get me details of John, and the bot will be able to understand and respond with a question saying what kind of details you need. So they will be able to select something choosing an option and get what they need. So it's a little conversational way of getting the information they need and a quicker way of getting what they need without spending too much time or doing a lot of context switch. So messaging extension is also one of the capabilities that people use, right? That's one way to build your app. So these allows users to interact with your web service through buttons and forms. Users can search or initiate any workflow by actions. So in this screenshot, especially what you're seeing here is I'm using this message extension app called Azure Repos, which lets me search my Azure DevOps. If you know what Azure DevOps is, it's a development tool where we can create different kinds of tickets to track the development work, right? So if I am in a conversation discussing about a feature or a development ticket with my team, then if I want to refer something, maybe usually the easiest way will be going to DevOps, finding the ticket, copying the link, pasting here, and then talk about it here, right? There's a lot of context switch. So these kind of use cases will be built inside the Teams itself. There is integration that you can establish with your Azure DevOps system, or it could be any system, which allows you to search for a specific thing without context switch and share that information right there in the chat so we can continue the conversation seamlessly. So meeting extensions, right? So meeting extensions is a new capability which made a big set of use cases possible these days, right? So any app that developed with this capability will have access to the complete meeting context, including participants. This was the use case that I was explaining earlier will be a good one here, right? It understands meeting events. So we will have access to things like who is joining and who is leaving at what time. If someone joins a meeting and you want to fetch their roles and post them on the chat so everyone is aware, we'll be able to do that using this capability because we have access to the complete meeting context and the meeting information when we develop a extension for the meetings, right? Not just in the meetings. It provides a bunch of possibilities post meetings and pre-meeting requirements too. For example, if you see the screenshot here, you can develop a meeting extension app and add like a tab here, like a contour. So in this specific screenshot where there are multiple questions that needs to be answered, right? So this specific use case is just like this is a recurring weekly planning meeting where you can add your custom app to your meeting as a tab and capture what went well, what did not go well, what did you learn, those kind of things, right? As part of the meeting itself, and all this data stays in the meeting. It's in your meeting recurring meeting tab itself. So we don't need to go multiple systems to capture these kind of things. So that's one kind of possibility using tabs that we can achieve. And also one more cool thing is here you can see like a in-meeting notification or pop-up that comes up during the meeting, right? This type of feature can help you capture the feedback in real time during the meeting or display some information during the meeting or display some information for any kind of acknowledgement or reminders during the meeting. So I developed an app too for this specific use case. Actually, if you I added that. Let me go here. So if you see here, this is the meeting that we are on currently, right? Teams app development is the meeting. So I added here a app called Content Bubble, right? Just to take the survey here. So for example, if I go here, I can invoke this bot. I can just say, hey bot, send survey, right? I can just ask the bot, like in the meeting, I can ask it, go ahead and send a survey. It should be able to respond, but it is, yeah. You see, it's sent a, now my bot understood the message that I'm asking the bot to send a survey, and it sent a message to all people in the meeting, say, how do you like the webinar today? So here, Sai Krishna, someone answered for great. I can click on this, submit my feedback here, right? It posts a message again saying what I voted for, right? So for use cases like this, it will be, this is not the only use case, but use cases like this, right? Collecting a poll during the meeting, doing a survey during the meeting, your bot will be able to understand who is answering the question. And for right now, I'm just posting them as part of the chat messages itself, but we can store this somewhere, or we can do many things here, right? We can integrate this with a database where you want to store all your feedback and then review later. We can do anything that we need to, but this is a simple example that I wanted to show you how we can bring in a bot into a meeting and ask it to do different things. Back to the presentation. So now that we have seen like different capabilities of the teams, right? This is the picture that gives you a good overview of how to build them, right? There are different tools and technologies. On the far left here, what you're seeing here is Power Platform components, which provides a quick low-code, no-code solutions that can be integrated into the teams, but there won't be much control and flexibility, right? We don't need professional developers to develop and manage solutions like that. But as we keep moving to the right side, we need professional developers to manage solutions like this. But these provide more flexibility and more control, right? For today's webinar, I did prepare some demos, which covering both the parts, like the low code, no code part, and as well as then from the right hand side, I have a React app. Which I took it from a sample and hosted it and integrated with Teams. I'll show you how it works. So a company communicator. So this is just like a fictitious use case that I took just to demonstrate how integration of this app works and how the experience of these apps work inside the Teams platform, right? So this company communicator is nothing but a use case where we have like two parts in this solution, right? One used by any organization that who wants to send messages across the organization on Teams, right, for everyone if they want to. So there are like two parts to it. One, a author app, one, a user app, right? Author app can be used by administrators to compose messages like this, what you're seeing on the right-hand side. And a user app can be used, distributed across the people in the organization so they can receive the messages, right? So one is to compose, author the messages, one is to receive the messages. This actual app is developed in React. Before getting into details, let me show you how this app works, right? So this particular app, the company communicator, the Krish communicator, is using a tab as a capability here. And you can see here that I can take an action, do like a new message. This is one part, first part of the solution, right? Where it allows people to author these messages and send it to across the people, right? So maybe if you see here, there's an action called new message. I can maybe just type Teams app development. Maybe upload a picture here. If I want to send this message across the organization, right? This is a way to, I can do that. I can just mention my name. Maybe I can do like click here. Maybe I can get a URL. This, I think I have it here. I can put it here, a link. It gives me different options of how I want to share. I can just send in chat to everyone. I can pick, but when I say everyone, the user, whoever is going to receive the message, they need to have the client app, the user app also installed, the second part of the solution, right? I can just save as draft here. And you can see there's a draft message, and I can go ahead and preview this or edit this or duplicate this, or I can go ahead and send this to everyone. See here, I just send that, and probably I have the user part of this app also installed here, right? So I should be seeing that message here. You can see here, there's a new message that just posted 11:36 a.m. Teams app development. So this is one use case, right? How these apps work. So how is this working, right? So the brains of this app, that means when I say send, what is happening, or when I go to Teams, how is this UI rendering, right? This UI is hosted somewhere in Azure. If I go to here, for example, this is where on Azure, you can see all these services that I have posted to make this app working, right? So let me show you quickly the architecture of this app. You can see here, there are different components that are working together to make this app work. There is front door, where we are onboarding the request, which uses a app registration to authenticate itself, and it is using a bunch of functions to send the message, and it is using service bus to store these messages in a queue first, and then because service bus is more like it will provide you the functionality like retry, failure, and whatnot, right? So it is using all these services, right? So this app itself is hosted on Azure. You can see all these services. This is the author app bot that we have in there. And there are a bunch of functions that are working together to make this work, right? And the UI piece, it is hosted on this particular web app, right? So it is hosted on Azure, but how is it linked with the Teams app, right? How is it interfacing with the Teams app? So that is where our developer portal comes into picture, which you can use it as like create a new app when some app is hosted there. For example, company authenticator communicator, right? When this app is hosted on Azure, but we want to create an interface and integrate with Microsoft Teams here. So here you can use developer portal app to basically define the manifest file. So what are we doing in this app, and where should this app reach out, right? All those things. How does the branding works? What are the features that bot is using, and what are the permissions this app needs? How does a single sign-on work? Where does it need to reach out? Because as soon as I go to this team, as you see here, it was able to authenticate. There is a lot of things happening in the backend, right? It was able to authenticate me. It is recognizing me as Ravi, and then allowing me to use this app. So using the single sign-on. So as I was showing in the developer portal, so it is reaching out to a specific API to understand where it should reach and stuff like that. So you define this manifest file first and how it should look like, and what it should do and what are the capabilities that it needs to do. And then once you do that, then it gives you different type of capabilities to basically integrate that with Microsoft Teams. And you can debug the app locally if needed. And then once that is developed, then you can always put it on the Teams admin store to distribute the app officially, which I'll show you in a bit. So it doesn't have to be this complicated because this app has a lot of components, right? So it could be as simple as like an expense request app, right? So this is one more solution that a fixture solution that we have developed internally to just for the demo purposes. It's a expense request. If you have some kind of expense request ever, I can show you this actually. So as you can see here, this is a Power App low-code, no-code platform app, which was developed quickly and then integrated with Teams, right? This is one possibility here. So what it does is basically allows the users to create a new expense request form, or it can see what are the decline requests, what are the pending requests. I can just go here, find something, upload a receipt to do things. So these kind of simple apps that are developed using the low-code, no-code platform also can be easily integrated with the Teams, and those can be pinned here. So when it comes to toolkit that I was explaining earlier, VS Code has a extension that is available called the Microsoft Teams Toolkit, which allows you to start the development of your app, configuration of your app that I was showing you earlier, packaging your app with the manifest file, and validating your app once you're done with the development and publishing your app, right? All this functionality is available on the VS Code extension that is available in there. And also, once you are done with it, once you develop the app, validate the app, everything is good, then you're ready to publish, right? That's when the Teams admin portal comes into picture, right? So from Teams admin portal, you can always push your app here. For example, I pushed my company communicator, right? You can see here, company communicator. This was publisher is Chris Services Group. I was able to publish this app and make it available for all the users across the organization, right? And also at the same time, when we go to Teams here, when I go to apps, this is more like App Store that is happening, right? You see here, built for your organization. Whenever you upload something to your Teams admin portal, it shows up as an app for your organization that is developed for the employees of your organization. So we can create different things like policies on basically what kind of apps do you want to allow your users to use, and you can define exactly if you want to allow only the apps that are developed by you. You can create policies to restrict users on what apps that needs to be allowed, and also you can set up policies, different kinds of policies on what your users should be seeing, right? When they opens this Teams, what kind of apps they should be seeing. You can add your custom app here. For example, I have my company communicator app, right? So I will be able to add that app here and pin it and make sure like a pinned here. That means all the users who are using Teams as part of our organization will be able to see that app as a pinned app on the side, so that it's easy to access. So there are different types of permission policies, setup policies that you can allow or configure so your users can access it in a better way. So with that, I think this will be the last slide. Any questions so far? Anything that you want to see? Okay, if you have don't have any questions, Christopher, do you have anything else to add here?
Yeah, sorry, I was just unmuting everyone so they could ask questions if they wanted. No, I think we're good. All right, well, there's no questions. And thank you everyone for your time today. We will be posting the recording of this on our YouTube channel, and keep an eye on your email for our next webinar. Thank you all.